Hey y'all, this one is for all of you lovely people who are fiercely independent. You know who you are, or I would say extremely independent. You know those people that are like, no, I'm going to do it myself, or I can do it myself, no problem. I got this. No, you don't need to help me, right? Yeah, we all know that vibe. And I think most of us have dealt with some level of fiercely independent. So you're going to super relate to this one today. We are going to break down what is going on and how this is a trauma response. All right, guys, here we go. Hey, friend, welcome to Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. My name is Aubrey Barr, and I am a subconscious release technique practitioner and photography business owner. I know you are sick of ending your day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, and you are seeking a solution to help you feel creatively inspired and actively engaged in your business as well as personal life. In this podcast, we are going to dig into any limiting beliefs or subconscious programs that are keeping you in a space filled with anxiety and stress. This work is not a temporary solution for your life. No, this is a complete transformation. So grab your coffee or tea and let's start you on the road to healing. And let me just say, you can do this. You are worth it. And you are meant to thrive in life and business. So let's dig in. I have to say that if you stumbled upon this podcast, this is no coincidence. There are some big truths in here that I think a lot of us need to look at and reassess in our own lives. So I'm going to dig into what this means as far as being fiercely independent, how that came about, and what kind of programs or limiting beliefs are going on in your head that probably need attention. Okay, so first off, let's just say that if you are here, you probably experienced some kind of trauma. It doesn't matter what kind. I will say personally that this definitely showed up for me in my first marriage. You know, I walked into that marriage already kind of shaken up from the world. Just because I had a lot of anxiety and just so much self-doubt. It came from just a place of not feeling value at all in myself. And because I was kind of already in that lower self-esteem area, I attracted somebody that was absolutely going to take advantage of that. And so that is how my first marriage came about. By the way, it was a car accident meeting. So, you know, you could just tell it was going to start out with a bang, I guess. But anyway, I learned how to love myself there. And I learned that I had to love myself because no one else could love me as much as I could love myself. And that opened a whole new world for me. So it absolutely is a happy ending story. But I will say that I did not recognize the long-term effects of that trauma until years later. Okay, I was able to recuperate. I was able to move on, you know, started my business. I met a new person that I married and have been happily married to. I was able to, you know, blossom out of this other person. So absolutely, there was a lot of good things that happened right away. However, there was a part of me that was still reacting to that trauma. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I'm pretty sure that some of you have this going on in your lives now. So being fiercely independent is this idea that you are going to do everything yourself, right? So what we've done is we are now unable to receive support from others because of this trauma. You end up being in a situation where you feel like you have to shield your heart, right? You have to shield it from any kind of abuse or neglect or betrayal. My goodness, disappointment from those around you, from family members, from, you know, it could be parents, it could be cousins, it could be whatever. But we're feeling like we have to shield ourselves. And when you have to shield yourself, you are turning off your energy to the outside world. Sometimes this trauma even comes in the form of disappointments, in the sense that maybe someone is like, hey, I'm going to help you out here. I got your back. Let me do this for you. And then they didn't show up, and they didn't actually have your back, and they didn't actually plan on helping you. Or maybe they did, but it was through, like bad intentions. So it didn't end up being help at all, right? So those things come up. And then there's also lies and betrayals that we've all experienced in, friendships, or like I said, old marriages or partnerships. And so we're learning through these bad consequences that we cannot trust other people. And in itself, that's just a really sad thing, right? We don't really, those of us who have kids probably think, gosh, I don't want my kid to think they can't trust anybody, but I also don't want them to trust anybody, right? There has to be a balance. And what happens is we open ourselves up so much to that abusive side of other people that we end up not being able to trust anybody. And, if you're single too, you might find this show up in your life as maybe not being trustworthy enough to really commit to someone, not feeling like they can be there for you, right? So you might even be turning down wonderful opportunities right before your eyes just because you're so stuck on not being able to trust people and being disappointed. I mean, it's pretty crappy to be in a situation where you're constantly disappointed in someone, right? It's just exhausting. It takes all of the will out of you. So while it's completely understandable to have trust issues and have this attitude of independence, I want you to then look at this as an opportunity for you to address it, address the trauma, release that, so that you can have hope, right? Hope is going to be the thing that is going to get you out of this fiercely independent. I will also say that I've been studying a lot about feminine versus masculine energy. And I will tell you, there is just this beautiful synchronicity that happens when a woman shows up with a problem, so to speak. And instead of saying what the solution should be, like, well, the way you can help me is to go get this for me. She shows up in feminine energy, which allows her to say, I have this problem. I am trying to do XYZ. And that allows a man to come in with very masculine energy and solve the problem. There's a connection that happens there. It sounds so like elementary at this point, but when you really break down trust, that is how you can begin that trusting relationship, is by having an issue and needing someone to solve it. You're already, just by dipping into your feminine energy, you're already providing that a man or a masculine energy person can come in and solve your problem. So, not to go off on a little tangent there, but when we lead with our fiercely independent, extremely independent attitude and self-being, we are leading with masculine energy, and therefore are not opening ourselves up to allow for anybody else to come in your circle that has masculine energy. They feel like they can't do anything for you because you're not opening up in that way. So you can see how and why it is so important to take care of those fiercely independent thoughts and be able to release them so that you can become more in tune with your feminine energy. And that is not a bad thing in any way. I know some people might think that that sounds weaker, and it absolutely is not, because actually the natural way that we're all supposed to be is leading with both masculine and feminine, but being in a place of acceptance. And when you are super independent, there's nothing you're accepting. I mean, you're not even accepting help. You're not, accepting help for someone to do your dishes, and it's like the opposite of accepting help when you're fiercely independent. So even if you're just noticing small things about this and saying, oh my gosh, that's me, Or if you're seeing a constant pattern of people coming into your life and constantly disappointing you and you having to, cut off the reins, so to speak, or move on or pick up and do everything yourself again, right? If you're noticing that over and over, that is a huge sign that there may be more there that needs to be healed. Okay, so what are the kind of programs that we're talking about? I kind of mentioned a couple. Like, I don't need anyone, or I'll just do it all myself. But what are a couple more? Let's see. No, I got it. Right? That whole super prompt, like, no, please don't do that for me. When someone offers to open the door for you, do you think that's like really super intrusive? I'm laughing because I literally used to think that when someone held the door open for me, they were assuming that I needed their help. And I know that rings true with somebody out there, but it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, right? If I really break that down, I mean, of course, they're just trying to help. I mean, most people have good intentions with opening a door, right? Or there was this whole thing when I was young and we started getting to the age where we could date, where it was like, well, I don't need a man, and I don't need someone to do this. And I never really thought about it before until my first marriage and then my second. And listen, I am very independent in my relationship with my husband now. I'll save you the nitty gritty, but it's not like he always gets the door for me. And it's not like he always does all these other things for me, but I know what my limitations are, and I'm able to then speak up or provide him a place for him to come in and be my, hero when I need it. So I'm still independent. Much to my detriment. I have had to deal with this on and off for years. So I'm actually kind of an expert, you guys. I laugh at myself too much. But what you do need to know about this is that you can fix this. I honestly believe that. There is a place for healing here. Okay, there is going to be a beautiful medium between being fiercely independent and just being independent and knowing what your limitations are. It's beautiful and it's a wonderful place to be. So let me just go through some of these affirmations that I have for you guys today. So one is, you are worthy of having support. You are worthy of having true partnership. You are worthy of love. You are worthy to be spoiled. You are worthy to have someone say, you rest, I got this, and actually deliver on that promise. You are worthy to receive. And please know you are worthy of healing and worthy of help from someone else on this journey. You do not have to do it alone. And honestly, you guys, allowing yourself to not do it alone is one of the bravest things you can do for your trauma. So when you look at trauma and you look at maybe your past experiences and this hard shell that you have come into, know that there's healing that needs to be done. This is not like, well, that's who I am now, and I'm just going to throw in the towel on that one because this is who I'm always going to be. That's owning your independence to the point of failure. We're not meant to do anything in this world alone. We thrive in relationships. We thrive in friendships. We thrive in that partnership, that eternal soulmate. So if this speaks to you at all, and you're recognizing these patterns that keep showing up in your life around being independent, I encourage you to reach out. I am absolutely available to help you guys. This is something that I work on in my program. A lot of it has to do with self-love, but we have 16 full weeks of this, and it just builds one on the other. So absolutely, let me know if you want to jump in on the class that starts in a week. I would absolutely love to have more fiercely independent people in there that I can help release these kind of traumas from, because it just settles in my heart so much. And I just know that there is hope out there, and I want you guys to get a taste for that. So have a beautiful day and a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. I hope this podcast spoke to you in some way. If it did, please go ahead and leave me a review and subscribe so that I know you're enjoying what you hear. And further, if you know somebody else who owns their own creative business and struggles with anything that we spoke about, please pass this on, because it is my hope that we will be able to build a community of like-minded individuals who love on each other and appreciate the many facets that make our creative business so unique. And lastly, check out the show notes to find my free Facebook community and other useful links to work with me. All right, friend, see you soon.